if you're confirmed.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, a background check for Ms. Parrish indicated no criminal record. A review of her credit report and financial statement indicated no negative information. Ms. Parrish, have you ever been disciplined or cited for a breach of ethics, unprofessional conduct by any court, agency, association, or professional group?
No, ma'am.
And how long have you been a resident of the state of South Carolina?
43 years.
I'm sorry?
43 years.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes.
For the
It'll be
record,
44 in
it was
October.
33 years.
Yes. Let the record reflect. 33 years. Maybe 21.
Thank you. Are you a family member of a member of the General Assembly or the governor, lieutenant governor, or other statewide elected official?
No.
Are you currently a lobbyist or do you engage in any lobbying activity?
No.
And have you been registered as a lobbyist within the last 4 years?
No.
Are you currently under the jurisdiction of the State Ethics Commission or the House or Senate Ethics Committees?
No.
Are there any other comments you would like to make to the committee at this time?
No. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
All right, Senator Kimbrell.
Well, Mr. Chairman, just let the record reflect, the senator from Greenville, Senator Elliott, was actually the chairman of this subcommittee, but I got to move all these forward, and knowing, with the possible exception that she might have committed perjury here, I'm glad that she hasn't committed any felonies or criminal offenses since we passed her through subcommittees. So I would move favorable now to pushing Ms. Parrish forward now to the full Senate favorably. We all are glad she's back.
All right, Senator from Greenville objects to that. Senator Elliott, let's hear what you have to say about Ms. Parrish.
She looks however old she wants to be, so that's fine. I'd second the motion for favorable report.
Senator Zell, you had your hand up to second it originally.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I just have a question.
All right, comments and or questions, Senator Zell.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your willingness to continue to serve. I want to just ask you, you mentioned why you want to do this. You correct me if I'm wrong, you said because you want to ensure fairness and equity in the administration of the office. Is that accurate depiction?
Yes.
You said fair and equitable. What do you mean by equitable in ethics?
So in ethics, I didn't mean a lightning rod comment about it. I meant that I wanted to carry out the premises of the statutory requirements the way that they are supposed to be carried out. So make sure you handle probable cause hearings fairly. You weigh all the evidence and the facts in front of you before you make a determination.
So wouldn't that be equality rather than equity?
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Let me sub out that word. Let me do equality.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, Senator Charles.
Ms. Parrish, I'm making this statement and comment before you. I know that you know it because you lived through it, but to me, it's very important that anyone who sits on the Ethics Commission, the State Ethics Commission, understands its role when it comes to another and a competing branch of government. And the code section that I neglected to cite previously is in Article 3, Section 12. Each house shall choose its own officers, determine its rules of procedure, punish its members for disorderly behavior. And just want to confirm that you understand that the role of the State Ethics Commission when it comes to disciplining members of another branch of government, the legislative branch, that your role is essentially a probable cause finding, and it's up to the Senate and House Ethics Committees to determine what type of punishment should proceed from that, if any.
I understand.
And I know you know it because you probably I think you helped me draft a lot of this,
yes, sir.
This stuff. But this is important that every member of the State Ethics Commission understand this. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, it shall bring great equality to the Ethics Commission. I move favorable again. I renew my motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right, motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Any opposition? There being none, Ms. Parrish, thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, we're going to proceed to Helen Munnerlin. Come on up, if you will. While you're standing, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
welcome. Have a seat, please. And same committee, Senators Elliott et al. Aaron, take it away, please.
Thank you. Could you please state your full name and current address?
Helen Farrell Munnerlin, and I live at 4801 Devereaux Road, Columbia, South Carolina. Oh, do I have to talk into it better than that? Okay. Shall I start again? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Helen Munnerlin is an appointee of the governor. This appointment is for a 5-year term that begins April 1st, 2025, and will expire on April 1st, 2030. Ms. Munnerlin, do you have a prepared statement that you would like to enter into the record?
No, I don't.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Munnerlin attended the University of South Carolina from 1976 to 1980 and received a degree in journalism. While in undergrad, she was a participant in Alpha Epsilon Rho, a journalist honor society, and ODK, or Omicron Delta Kappa, a leadership organization. Ms. Munnerlin worked as a staffer from 1980 to 1984 for the Associated Press and the Columbia Bureau. She also worked for the South Carolina Press Association, for the South Carolina Aeronautics Commission, and for the South Carolina Department of Commerce. From 2003 to 2004, she worked as Director of Marketing Communication at SC Student Loan Corporation. Finally, Ms. Munnerlin has served as Executive Director for Leadership South Carolina since 2004. Ms. Munnerlin was appointed to and served on the South Carolina Management, Accountability, and Performance Commission from May of 2003 to September of 2003. She was appointed to the Parks and Recreation Committee for the City of Columbia and served from 2017 to 2020. Finally, Ms. Munnerlin was appointed to the Municipal Election Commission for the City of Columbia and has been serving since 2022. Did you just resign from that?
I have resigned. I actually talked to the city clerk yesterday and submitted paperwork yesterday.
Thank you. Additionally, Ms. Munnerlin was a member of the South Carolina Economic Developers Association from 2003 to 2024. She has also served as a poll clerk manager for Richland County elections, is a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and has served on the parish council for the St. Joseph Catholic Church. Ms. Munnerlin, we have received your confirmation package and amendment on 4/24 of this year. Are there any additional changes or any additional information you'd like to provide for your personal data questionnaire or your statement of economic interest?
No.
For the record, a background check of Ms. Munnerlin indicated no criminal record, and a review of her credit report and financial statements indicated no negative information. Ms. Munnerlin, have you ever been disciplined or cited for breach of ethics or unprofessional conduct by any court, agency, association, or professional group?
I have not.
How long have you been a resident of the state of South Carolina?
67 years.
43 years.
If it were 23, it'd be a couple of times.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes, I am.
Are you a family member of a member of the General Assembly or the governor, lieutenant governor, or other statewide elected official?
No.
Within the last 4 years, have you made a campaign contribution to the governor, lieutenant governor, or a member of the General Assembly?
No, I have not.
Are you currently a lobbyist, or do you engage in any lobbying activity?
No, I do
Or
not.
have you done that within the last 4 years?
No, I have not.
Are you currently under the jurisdiction of the State Ethics Commission, the House of Representatives, or Senate Ethics Committees?
No.
Do you believe that any of your work experience, volunteer activities, or affiliations with any organizations presents a potential conflict with your appointment?
No, I do not.
Any financial conflicts as well? And if a conflict were to arise, what would you do?
I would recuse myself and figure out why and bring it to the attention of the commission.
And do you understand the obligations and responsibilities of the position of a commissioner?
Yes, I do. And I've talked to Megan Dason a couple of times.
And are you committed to serving a full term?
Yes, I am.
Are there any other comments you'd like to make to this committee?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Munnerlin. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
All right, Senators Elliott et al. Again screened Ms. Munnerlin. Senator Graham made the motion. Senator Elliott, you want to Any questions or any comments by you or the subcommittee members, Senator Rickenbach?
Ms. Mutterlin, it's a pleasure to see you.
Good to see you.
So you were with Leadership South Carolina for how many years?
21 years.
So how many of the participants, myself included, have gone through that program?
For the whole thing, about 2,100 have gone through, but I personally helped with 1,100 of people really prepare for statewide boards and commissions through Leadership South Carolina.
Okay, and it is a fantastic program. There's a personal anecdote there, but statistically speaking, I can't imagine it would be long before someone who's gone through the program under you or leadership will come before the Ethics Commission. Have you factored into how difficult that will be for you?
Well, I don't think it'll be that difficult if we look at the rule of law, if I go through the training properly and come up with the information in front of me, I think I can make a reasoned decision. And I think that's what this Ethics Commission is all about. It's about understanding the law, trying to understand what the person has done or has not done, and then come up with a logical decision that makes sense. And I think that's really what the law tells us, and that's what we should go by.
Okay, so even with the appeal of Helen, I know you, we did the program together, you're prepared to say that here's the rule of law?
I have 4 kids. I had to lay down the rule of law a number of times. Let's just, I don't have a problem with that.
Great, great. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, other comments? Senator Campson?
It's close
Okay,
enough for
Mutterlin.
state work. I'm good.
I'm sorry. So as a member of the State Ethics Committee, you would be a member of the executive branch, is that correct?
That's correct.
And we are members of the legislative branch,
Yes.
one of 2 chambers. And once again, as I queried or made comments to other members, I think this is extremely important because it's very important that each branch of government discipline its own members so that they're all co-equal. The judicial branch has a discipline process. Executive branch does, which is the State Ethics Commission. But when it comes to us being members of the Senate and the House, competing branch of government, do you understand how important it is that you honor the statute that, and my friend from Charleston, my fellow senator from Charleston, Senator Tedder, reminded me that y'all don't even make findings of probable cause. You recommend a probable cause finding. That's your role. When it comes to disciplining members of the legislative branch, a competing branch of government. And you have no role when it comes to the judicial branch because they handle their own discipline. And this is all the framers of the federal Constitution and the state Constitution put this in place because it's very important that the 3 branches of government are always jockeying and jousting with each other, each empowered with the ability to restrain the others, and that's how we preserve liberty and keep government, in fact,
Stable.
state government from running amok. In fact, it's really interesting. I'd encourage everyone to read the Russian Constitution, its Bill of Rights. Arguably, it has a stronger Bill of Rights than we do. But the only reason it's a dictatorship is there are no competing branches that compete with the dictator Putin in Russia. And so this is very important. This is why I want to make sure every member of the State Ethics Commission understands this.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, further questions? All right, motion made, seconded by everybody. All in favor, say aye. Any opposition? There being none, Ms. Munnerlin, thank you for your willingness to serve.
Thank you very much.
All right, next we have the Human Affairs Commission, James Wilson. James A. Wilson. Come on forward, and will you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Welcome. Have a seat, please. And Aaron, Senators Elliott and others screened you, sir. Mr. Wilson, you have folks with you perhaps that you'd like to introduce? I see you
sir.
sitting by
Yes, sir. My
someone.
mother and father are here with me.
All right,
this
speaking to the
afternoon.
mic, tell us who
Yes,
they
sir.
are.
Yes, sir. My mother and father are here with me this afternoon. They're both pastors, Pastors Tony and Joni Foster.
Very good, welcome. And I apologize, Ms. Munnerlin, did you have someone with you as well? And tell us his name. Bruce Smith, very good. Anybody else whose family members I didn't introduce, see Aaron afterwards. I think I got everybody. All right, are we ready, Aaron?
Yes.
All right, we're ready. So, thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, could you please state your full name and current address?
Yes, James Arthur Wilson, and I live at 208 Wake Lund Drive, Greer, South Carolina, 29651.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson, do you have a prepared statement you'd like to enter into the record?
Yes, ma'am. I would just like to say I am honored to be here and before this body, and I look forward to serving the people of the state of South Carolina.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Wilson is being screened for initial appointment for the South Carolina Human Affairs Commission for a term commencing on June 30th, 2024 and expiring on June 30th, 2027. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Wilson attended the University of South Carolina and received a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration in 2012. He is the owner of J3 Facility Services, LLC, a cleaning business. He has been a process operator at GE Verona from 2024 until the present. He also currently serves in the South Carolina National Guard and has done so since 2015. Mr. Wilson's recommendation letters provide additional information regarding his military service in the South Carolina National Guard. He is currently a first lieutenant working a dual role as platoon leader and maintenance control officer in the 742nd Support Maintenance Company, where he has experienced supervising and mentoring soldiers, overseeing the maintenance of military vehicles, creating, executing logistic plans, and managing a $2 million budget, among other duties. Mr. Wilson, we have received your complete confirmation package. Are there any changes or any additional information you would like to provide for your personal data questionnaire or your statement of economic interest?
No, ma'am. I would like to add that I also served as a House page in the South Carolina House between the years of 2008 and 2012.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, for the record, a background check of Mr. Wilson indicated no disqualifying criminal record, and a review of his credit report indicated no negative information. Mr. Wilson, how long have you been a resident of the state of South Carolina?
35 years.
And are you registered to vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently a public official, public member, or public employee?
No, I am not.
Are you an official with any political party?
I am not.
Are you currently a lobbyist, or do you engage in any lobbying activity?
I am not. I do not.
Do you believe any of your work experience, volunteer activities, or affiliations with any organizations presents a potential conflict, financial or otherwise, with your appointment to the South Carolina Human Affairs Committee?
No, ma'am.
Commission. Do you understand the obligations and responsibilities of the position of commissioner?
I do.
And are you committed to serving a full term?
Yes, I am.
Any other comments that you would like to make to this committee?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
All right, Senator Elliott, on behalf of the subcommittee, you chair that. Questions or observations?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, Mr. Wilson, thank you for willing to serve, and hopefully your service as a House page will not be held against you by most of the people on this committee. But with that, Mr. Chairman, I would move for a favorable report on Mr. Wilson's nomination.
Seconded by Senator Zell. Seconded by. I do want to ask, and you have got multiple talents. The letters of recommendation speak to your multifaceted gifts that you have. I want to know the last time that you were called upon to sing a solo in church. What was that song?
Oh, gosh. A solo.
And can you sing it
Maybe
now?
a year ago. Maybe a year ago. No.
What was the song?
It was. Oh gosh.
Don't look back. You sing it.
Yeah. It was a song by William McDowell. I don't recall the title, but it was one of his songs.
Mama, Daddy, how did he do? He did great. Very good, very good. Well, he's singing that in the car on the way home, if y'all want to get that recorded, if you will. All right, and forgive me for that rabbit, but anyway, one of the more unique things that I read about you. So in addition to your work with the Guard, so thank you very much, and your willingness to serve. Without further questions or comments or requests for a song, unless now Senator Zell, who seconded the motion, has a question himself.
Yes, sir. Just a couple questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, thank you for your service. If the apple doesn't fall far from the tree on this one, I just want to say thank you for what the Foster family has done for this state over decades. And I think the legacy of your father has his reputation has preceded him. And I know you're standing on your own here, but I just want to say, as someone who has been following the work of you all, how much I appreciate that. First, are you a lawyer, sir?
No, sir, I'm not.
Thank you for that. Secondly, I appreciate that more than you know. Secondly, who did you page for?
Both Representative Pinson and Parks.
Roger that. Right, roger that. All right, well, thank you. That's all my questions. Thank you for your military service.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for continuing to serve. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any songs that have come to mind since I last asked you about songs?
No, sir, no songs.
All right, without further ado, in second motion, all in favor say aye. Any opposition other than you to singing? There being none, thank you again for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to proceed next to Patrick Palmer, Patrick Palmer. Patrick Palmer. All right, we're going to jump to Brian Lampkin, Office of State Inspector General, reappointment. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, sir. Have a seat. And Aaron and Senators Elliott et al., who screened you, will have some questions, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your full name and current address?
Brian Dale Lampkin, 308 Oak Horse Loop, Blythewood, South Carolina.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Lampkin is being screened for reappointment to the State Inspector General with a term that begins May 10th, 2025 and expires May 10th, 2029. Mr. Lampkin, do you have a prepared statement that you would like to enter into the record?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Lampkin attended Middle State Tennessee University, where he received a Bachelor of Instrumental Music Education in 1978. He received a Master of Music in Trumpet Performance and Pedagogy from the University of Louisville in 1980. After graduating, Mr. Lampkin worked as an instrumental music educator from 1978 until 1981 in the Jefferson County Public School District of Louisville, Kentucky. He also worked as an instrumental music educator and music department chair in the Oldham County Public School District of Buckner, Kentucky. From 1987 and 2012, Mr. Lampkin worked as a special agent for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. His positions included senior executive position of Chief of Financial Crimes, Special Agent in Charge in Columbia, South Carolina, and Atlanta, Georgia, Assistant Director Training. Then from 2012 to 2013, Mr. Lampkin was self-employed as an independent consultant of financial crimes investigation. From 2013 to 2017, Mr. Lampkin worked as an investigator 4 at the South Carolina Office of the State Inspector General. Currently, Mr. Lampkin is a member of and certified fraud examiner at the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, which he joined in 2013. He has been a member of and a certified Inspector General with the Association of Inspectors General since 2015. Furthermore, he has been a member of the FBI National Academy Associate since 2005. He has been a lifetime member at the International Association of the Chiefs of Police since 2005. He has been a member of the Society of Former FBI Agents since 2012. Finally, Mr. Lampkin has been a member of the National Executive Institute Associates since 2008. He has served as the Inspector General of South Carolina since his appointment in 2017. We have received your complete confirmation package. Are there any changes, any additional information you'd like to provide for your personal data questionnaire or your statement of economic interest?
No, they're not.
Mr. Lampkin, you've now served as the Inspector General for 8 years. Why do you want to continue serving in this role?
Well, I think that's just it. I do want to continue serving the citizens of South Carolina. I have an outstanding staff. I enjoy going to work with and serving them each day and being part of the process to hold the executive branch accountable.
Full committee, thank you.
Through the oversight process as well.
Joining us from
And during this time, what changes have you made in the operation of the office, and what changes do you hope to make going forward?
My initial focus when I was appointed in 2017 was to build relationships with my fellow agency heads in the executive branch. During that time, we started seeing more use of the Inspector General's office to do proactive program management reviews, voluntary, on their behalf. We would go in and take a look at a program, provide advice and recommendations, and this is part of the statute that was put in place in 2012 for the IG's office. Since that time, that has grown exponentially. What is important to me is to make sure that that what we do, our work that we do, is relevant to the oversight process and to improving government. During these last 7 completed fiscal years, I'm in my 8th fiscal year as IG, we've issued over 336 findings and recommendations that are relevant to the operations of the agencies. 333 of those have been implemented. And what we can do with that is we can tie that to waste identified, efficiencies that can help improve operations. That's over 99%. I think that's an important thing to focus in on, and we're going to continue to drive the agency in that direction, being part of that process.
Thank you. Are you committed to serving another full term?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, a background check of Mr. Lampkin indicated no criminal record, and a review of his credit report indicated no negative information. Have you ever been disciplined or cited for a breach of ethics or unprofessional conduct by any court, agency, association, or professional group?
No, I have not.
How long have you been a resident of the state of South Carolina?
20 years.
Are you registered to vote?
Yes, I am.
Are you an official with any political party?
No, I'm not.
Are there any other comments you'd like to make to the committee?
No, they're not.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions. Thank you, Mr. Lampkin.
All right, Senator Elliott, members of the subcommittee, any questions or comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee was impressed with the attention and the seriousness with which he approaches his job, which is appropriate for the job that he has.
All right, I am curious, and the headline action taken by your office since you've had it, or the never made it to the news, but that was a formal public and/or official action taken by the Inspector General's office. Which one are you proudest of and/or would call most attention to?
Well, most recently, I think, and what I think is of value to, and means the most, I think, to my office, is when the legislature or the governor's office calls upon us to take on a hard task. And they really dig in on those. We don't do press releases. That's by design. I do not do press releases. The reports should stand on their own. If I have to add to it, then I didn't do my job. And so, but I think the one that's probably most recently was when the House Oversight Committee asked us to, they stopped their oversight of the Commission on Higher Education for us to take a look at what the operations were of that. During that process is when we identified $152 million, I think it's, if I recall, it's $152 million in unallocated scholarship funds, lottery scholarship funds, that had continued to build up over the budget years. That's an important thing, and I see that as my role, is during the budget process that we're bringing those issues to the attention of the Finance Committee and the House Ways and Means Committee so that you all can make informed decisions on how you allocate and appropriate. I don't say they take pride in it, but they really dig down and they really work hard at what they do, and they acknowledge they see that when you ask the IG's office to do these things, that in and of itself is an acknowledgement of their worth to the process.
All right. I saw some hands raised earlier. Senator Nutt, questions, comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you know all 3 verses of the Rocky Top? Sing it with us.
I'm a University of Louisville fan. I don't look, like they said in what was it, The Blind Side. I don't look good in orange. If I recall that correctly. No, I do not know all the verses of Rocky Top. I could probably get through the first verse, and that'd be about it.
All right, Senator Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Lampkin, thank you for your work. I'm curious, and if we need to do this privately, then that's fine. But I'm curious. Have you found that you're getting cooperation from the executive agencies that you're tasked with overseeing and investigating?
I would say by and large, once they start to understand what our process is, and it's very straightforward. There's either a law, a regulation, or a policy. I'm not looking for anything else. And so if they're following those 3 things, we're going to be in good stead. When I've encountered probably, I'd say it's more of a learning curve for our public school districts, since that's new. It's just been 3 years.
Headed next, yeah.
That is a learning curve, but we always have an opening conference. I tell them what I'm there for and why we're there. But as far as the cooperation, I really don't have to pull. I don't have to pull teeth, especially in the executive branch. They are very good about working with us and what we are seeking as far as documentation and interviews and the like.
Yeah. So I do want to ask you about taking on the jurisdiction of investigating school districts. How has that impacted your workload?
Oh, it has lengthened our time to turn things around. You never know what you're going to see once you get into a school district. And what may be on the surface as the initial scope of our review, it can take a wide turn just when you start uncovering things. What we see a lot, and I'd say this in the vast majority, when I hear the term, "this is the way we've always done it," I know I've got a problem, because that means they're cutting corners, and they're trying to get do it the low hanging fruit, and that's when you have internal control issues, and that's what we will focus in on and try and get those fixed.
Has the office's work on school district issues detrimentally affected your work on executive agency issues?
No, I don't think so to that extent, because we source our what we need to do as far as the number of people working these cases. I generally will put about 4 people on a school district. If I get a very focused request from the legislature or the governor's office, generally I'm going to be involved in those, so I can keep it on the straight and narrow. We don't get distracted about anything. But if it's an all hands on deck, I'll tell you, when we got the request to do the Higher Education Commission, we turned it around in 45 days, but I put 10 people on it, because I knew time was of the essence, because they were understudy, and so that's why we did that.
Well, how many employees do you have?
We're funded at 16. I'm right at 15 right now.
You had 2/3 of your agency working on
At that
higher
time,
ed.
At that time, yes.
Yeah. So you're at 15. Those are those investigators?
That counts myself, my deputy, and my admin. So when you factor in, be 13 Well, it would be 12 with one vacancy.
And that staff level allows you so far to do the executive work and the school district work?
Yes, so far.
Okay. Well,
I've only averaged 2 school districts a year, so we're in our 6th one right now, and it's been 3 years.
yeah, that's a recent addition. Well, I will tell you, that was one of the concerns that we had when we had added school districts, was that it could overwhelm the office such that the executive agencies for which we created the office in the first place might suffer there. So if you see that start to happen, please let us know.
I will.
So that we can ensure that you have the resources necessary to do what we need you to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, other questions? Mr. Lampkin, I'm curious, given an earlier question, particularly with your background, what song do you think is best sung in accompaniment with a trumpet?
Oh, Star Spangled Banner.
All right, have you met Mr. Wilson?
The reason why I play trumpet is so that no one has to suffer my singing, okay?
Perhaps a beautiful relationship will begin here.
That's right.
All right, if there are no other Rocky Tops or Star Spangled Banner questions, we'll proceed to a vote. Motion made, is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Any opposition? There being none. All right, thank y'all. And for the folks that are thinking you have to hang around, you're not required to stay if you've already been screened. You're welcome to leave. Otherwise, we will proceed to the next, and Mr. Palmer is en route, I believe. Perhaps if we don't make it today, likely we'll meet him next week. So is Mr. Palmer here? All right. Let me call Lee Cagiola to come up, please. Lee Cagiola, please come up. Have a seat on the first row. And I think there's someone by the name of John Gabriel Cagiola, if he will come. Ms. Cagiola, have a seat on the first row with the guy in the blue shirt or suit there. Grimacing, grimacing. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And state your name for the record, please.
John Gabriel Cagiola.
All right. This subcommittee, likewise by Senators Elliott et al. And Maura Baker, screened you. Maura, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Cagiola attended the University of the South Sewanee before attending the University of South Carolina, earning a bachelor's degree in history and political science in 2001. He earned his JD from the University of South Carolina School of Law in 2005. He was a member of the Phi Delta Phi legal fraternity, and after law school, he worked for McAngus, Goodalock, and Curry. He then worked as a law clerk for the Honorable Matthew J. Perry, Senior United States District Judge for the District of South Carolina from 2007 to 2009. Mr. Cagiola then spent 15 years in private practice, working in workers' compensation defense at Wilson, Jones, Carter, and Baxley. He also worked in the Office of Disciplinary Counsel for the South Carolina Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation in 2020, and he currently works at Mark Brown Law Firm. He is a board member for the Lexington-Richland Alcohol and Drug Abuse Foundation Board. His family attends Trinity Episcopal Cathedral in Columbia, and he previously was a member of the South Carolina Association of Justice and the Injured Workers Association. Mr. Cagiola, do you have a prepared statement that you would like to enter into the record at this time?
Not at this time. Thank you.
We've received your completed confirmation package. Are there any additional changes or information you would like to provide to your personal data questionnaire or your statement of economic interest?
No, ma'am, there are not.
For the record, a background check of Mr. Cagiola indicated no criminal record, and a review of Mr. Cagiola's credit report indicated no negative information. Mr. Cagiola, have you ever been disciplined or cited for breach of ethics or unprofessional conduct by any court, agency, association, or professional group?
No, ma'am, I've not.
How long have you been a resident of the state of South Carolina?
My whole life.
Are you registered to vote?
I am.
Are you an official with a political party?
No.
Are you currently a lobbyist, or do you engage in any lobbying activity?
No, ma'am.
Do you believe that any of your work experience, volunteer activities, or affiliations with any organizations present a potential conflict with your appointment to the South Carolina Workers' Compensation Commission?
No, I do not.
Do you have any financial conflicts of interest that will result from your appointment?
No, I do not.
What would you do if a conflict arises?
Advise the parties and recuse myself.
Do you understand the obligations and responsibilities of the position of Commissioner?
I do.
Are you committed to serving a full term?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Why do you want to serve?
I look forward to an opportunity to serve, to do public service law. I grew up with the lady on the front row, who is a chief public defender for Richland County, where I grew an appreciation for the practice of law and the fact that everybody deserves representation. As you mentioned, I had the privilege of clerking for Judge Matthew Perry, where I learned, you know, he instilled the values of what I think it takes to have a judicial role, a command of the law and the rules of court, and an unwavering commitment to impartiality and civility to all parties and attorneys that appeared before him. For the next 17 of my 20 years of practice, I've dedicated to workers' compensation, both on the defense side, the claimant side, and as a mediator. I believe in the system. I think it's a very fair system. It seeks to achieve the mission of a balance between protecting the citizens of South Carolina when they're faced with these life-changing injuries, as well as protecting the companies that come to this state and help them continue to grow and thrive here. I feel like I've maintained good relationships with most members of the bar on both sides, and I think I will bring a thoughtful and sensible temperament to the position that would, you know, that combined with my knowledge of the law, leave me in a good position and the privilege to serve as a commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Cagiola. Let's see. Do you have any other comments that you would like to make at this time?
I do not, thank you.
For the committee's information, this, Mr. Cagiola is filling an unexpired term that commenced on June 30th, 2020. It has become vacant, and this term will expire on June 30th, 2026. And Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
All right, Senators Elliott et al., questions or comments or from the other members of the full committee? Senator Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Cagiola, I know if you clerked for Judge Perry.
Hold on 1 second. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Sure.
I'm gonna shift real quick, Senator Elliott, on behalf of the subcommittee. Y'all screened Mr. Cagiola, and y'all had a unanimous vote for a favorable report. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We were impressed with Mr. Cagiola's background and experience and temperament, and I feel like he will be a good addition to the Workers' Compensation Commission, knowing that they are down one commissioner, so this will fill that, make it at 7.
Okay. And I did not allow you to introduce other members of your family. I believe your significant other is with you as well. Would you like to introduce her?
Yes, sir. Both of the women in charge, my mother, Leslie Cagiola, and my wife, Lauren Cagiola, are here with me today.
All right. Speaking of the mic on the last name, and would you like to come forward as well and sit by your mother-in-law? Speak her name into the record, please.
Lauren Cagiola.
Okay.
I'd just like to note, Mr. Chairman, she's wearing orange.
Big
I wouldn't
Auburn
read.
fan.
From
Let's not read too far
Auburn.
into that.
Auburn fan. All right, unless there are other comments, I do want to acknowledge, obviously, and with awkward ranking style, calling your mother up. I've never met you, I don't believe, other than a conversation this year. I don't know that I've ever spoken to you, but you are blessed with one hell of a legacy in the legal field, and that being a mother who has, as you've described it, paved a great path for you. And so children of lawyers, it's a unique burden and or blessing. And so not to you, sir, but to your mother, I thank you for what you've done for our state. All right, without anything further, we got a motion and a second. All in favor of the nomination of Mr. Cagiola. Those who can participate in this vote, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? There being none, and there is a proxy vote that we will recognize for Senator Lieber. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
All right, we will now proceed. Mr. Patrick is not here. We will get back to him next week. All right, we're going to go to Sharon, S-428, Senators Kimbrell, Tedder, Kennedy, Walker. Tell us about this, Sharon, if you will. Senator Allen's and Hembry's bill. This has been introduced before, I believe, by the Senate and passed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Last year, S-112 was passed by both the Senate and the House, and the governor vetoed the bill. Mr. Chairman, the bill would establish a method to expunge multiple misdemeanor convictions for offenses involving fraudulent checks. A person who had multiple convictions within a 3-year period in magistrate's court would be able to apply to have the court expunge the arrest and convictions 10 years after the date of the last conviction. Mr. Chairman, Section 2 would add this provision of expungement of multiple convictions for misdemeanor check fraud to the Uniform Expungement of Criminal Records section. And Section 3 would provide that no later than 180 days after an investigation reveals a person was arrested as a result of mistaken identity, arrest records would be destroyed. Mr. Chairman, there was a technical amendment by the subcommittee that met this morning, and again, this bill, the same bill did pass both bodies last year but was vetoed by the governor.
The full subcommittee?
No, sir.
All right. Questions now, and is there an amendment?
Yes, sir. There was a technical amendment by the subcommittee. You should have that in front of you. Just in subsection F, it is adding the word or the words pursuant to this section. So if the defendant receives no other convictions, and we wanted to make sure we weren't talking about any convictions, but convictions pursuant to this section during the 10-year period following the last conviction, they could have their record expunged.
All right, questions about that amendment or the bill itself? Is that amendment before us?
Yes, sir.
On our tab?
It should be.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Cash,
I have a question about the bill.
please.
So this is adding a subsection F. Subsection E deals with expungement, where if a person is convicted of fraudulent check, after 1 year, they may apply for an expungement on that fraudulent check. So now we're adding another expungement paragraph here. So my first question would be, if you pass a bad check and after a year you haven't passed another one and you get the first one expunged, and then 2 months later you pass another bad check after the expungement, is the first conviction counted in with the second one, and now you have multiple convictions, or after the first expungement you're back to a clean slate? And so the second conviction would start a new count.
Anybody from the subcommittee or Sharon?
I was just going to say, it starts a new count at that point in time.
All right, well then, I guess my point would be, if it starts a new count, well then someone familiar with the law would realize that they've got basically 3 years to go do it again to get a second count in order to have multiple convictions so they can have them all expunged.
Well, most time when you're dealing with check fraud, they have multiple checks that are out there, and that the case is made on multiple checks. So that's how the reason for, if I'm understanding your question right. So it falls under one case.
That's true, but and I'm not disagreeing with you that someone might have a bad spot and pass 3 checks in 1 year, in which case I think this subsection would kick in to deal with that. But it's also the case that someone can get 1 bad check, not pass another one for a year, get that expunged, and then start a multiple count. And in subsection E, the point of subsection, or one of the points in subsection E is that you only get one bite at the apple. You can't get a second bad check expunged. So it sounds like we're starting another count in which.
You only get one expungement, correct, Sharon? That's it, correct?
Yes, sir, you can only take advantage.
Yes, one time.
Only take advantage of this section one time.
You can also take advantage of section E one time, is the way I'm reading it. So you could take advantage of section E and get an expungement after 1 year, and then if you did it again, you would start a new count, was what I think I was just told.
No,
it doesn't
I
reset.
misunderstood what you were talking about. No, you can only take advantage of expungement one time. However, the reason for the amendment is because when you go out and you're involved with the case, you get several different fraudulent check charges, and it end up being on the one case. So it's counted one time.
Well, I understand that's what you're saying you think it says. I'm just not convinced that that is actually the way it would read if someone pressed the issue and said, I had a bad check, I got it expunged, and now I did another one, and I fall under section F if when I do another one, I do multiple.
Well, we can adjust it. I mean, we can work with staff.
Well, that's what I would like to prevent.
Right.
If I'm correct.
We actually
and I may
talked a little
not
bit
be.
about that. Senator Walker brought that up in subcommittee as well. So, but we can talk about that and work with staff. Sharon, I don't know how we can adjust that to make everybody feel comfortable with that.
Well, I would think the adjustment would simply say if you've been afforded section E already,
that's fine.
You can't come back and take advantage of subsection F.
Yep.
It's one or the other, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, further discussion? That would be part of a technical amendment, perhaps, or you would want to do that from the floor? If we could fix it now, I'd appreciate it if we can just go ahead and do the technical amendment now, just that we don't have to worry about it on the floor. I think that'll take care of Senator Walker's discussion from this morning as well.
You just.
All right. Everybody understand what we're doing? Sharon, you understand what we're doing? Yes, sir. All right. All right. Motion made. Now, further discussion, Senator Zell, on that point.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. Do we know why the governor vetoed this? Did he do a signing statement or whatever it's called? Do we have any indication of why he vetoed this bill last year? And then secondarily, what's considered fraud versus, say, just a mistake? Is fraud, is that adjudicated and then determined to be deliberate and malicious? I'm not a lawyer, and if so, just if someone could explain the legal definition of what determines or the bar for fraud compared to anything else, I'd appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, on the expungement message, at the governor's veto message last year, the governor typically vetoes any bills dealing with expungements.
Second question.
The second question is what brings the action of someone who hands over a check that isn't sufficient? What's determinant of it to meet the level or the bar of fraud instead of a mistake?
If I remember my enforcement days, it actually says you got to knowingly, fraudulently try and either cash a known check, a check that's belonging to account that's either not valid or knowing it did not have the funds within that account in order to obtain the money or items that you're buying with it.
So, well, thank you for that, sir. So fraud is a crime, obviously. It's a financial crime. Does this bill, to the Senator of Anderson, his point, does this particular bill give the ability for people to sort of just wipe the slate clean to do it again? That's my concern.
Yes,
Thank you.
one time.
So, thank you very much.
All right, further questions? If not, would there be a motion?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think we're moving favorable on the technical amendment first. I move favorable on that amendment for now.
All right, second, all right, discussion of that amendment as amended. There being none.
So move
all in
favorable on the bill
favor
as
of that-
amended.
Wait a minute, as the amendment, all in favor of that amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Being none, okay, to the bill itself.
So now move favorable on the bill as amended, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded. Any discussion? All right, there being none, all in favor, say aye. All right, that will be reported out without opposition. All right. Yes, sir. All right. Next item is I. And 455. Tell us about this, Sharon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill would create the offenses of strangulation and aggravated strangulation. The bill would define strangulation as the restriction of a person's airflow or blood circulation by external pressure to the throat or neck, the blocking of a person's nose or mouth, or applying weight to the torso, abdomen, or shoulders so as to restrict a person's breathing. These acts would be considered strangulation regardless of whether the conduct resulted in a visible injury or whether there was an intent to kill or injure another person. The bill would provide that a person commits the offense of aggravated strangulation if at the time of the offense, the perpetrator was subject to a valid order of protection or restraining order, wielded a deadly weapon or ligature, or had previously been convicted of a strangulation offense. Mr. Chairman, this bill has been before the legislature several times over the last several years. It was in subcommittee this morning, and there are no amendments.
All right, and voted favorably how many times?
Unanim-
Several times?
Yes, sir.
All right. Senator Adams, any need to speak further?
No, sir.
All right, you got a motion?
Motion favorable report.
I second.
Second, discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
All right, Senator Massey, then Senator Cash.
I'm curious, and I know with Senator Adams being the sponsor, I mean, I know he's thought about this, but I am curious, does this, how this would affect police work and restraint, different types of holds that are necessary to restrain
Yeah, so
people.
in 2023, we actually did law enforcement reform
Yep.
where it removed strangulation holds or any sort of choke holds unless it was a deadly situation. So this will not affect law enforcement at all. And this is basically, we're the last state that does not have this law, and this will help out those domestic abuse and victims.
This is broader than just chokeholds, though, isn't it? I mean, any type of thing that's going to impede normal breathing or airflow. I mean,
Anything cut off the airflow, that's correct.
they can't. And I don't like it when they do this anyway. But that's also going to be an issue for like restraining someone on the ground, right? If they are lying on the ground and they put your knee on your back, that's going to be an impediment to breathing in some situations.
Mr. Chairman, if I.
Hold on a second. Sharon's got the term in the bill itself.
Mr. Chairman, under subsection G, it is an affirmative defense to a charge pursuant to this section that the act was performed as part of a necessary medical procedure medical procedure to aid or benefit the victim, or was an otherwise lawful action taken by a person or law enforcement personnel.
So if it's otherwise lawful, it could not be unlawful pursuant to this provision. Is that right? Yeah.
Back in 2023, provisions were adopted by this legislature regarding that.
Yeah, I just think this is broader than that. I think this is broader than chokeholds, and I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I just want to make sure that everybody understands, that, because I don't want them using chokeholds, and I absolutely supported the elimination of that. And I don't like some of the pictures or videos that I see when they're just holding somebody down who can't breathe either. I just want, okay, well, as long as the law enforcement guys are are okay with it, then I mean, I certainly absolutely like the overall context of protecting domestic violence victims and anyone else from strangulation. I just want to make sure that we're not impeding something that it would normally be done in an acceptable manner.
And I can tell you from experience, most of, other than a couple of cases that we've seen and actually law enforcement officers have been arrested for it, but what I have seen on the road is once the subject is detained and handcuffed and secured, they're either sat up or put into a vehicle. Even during questioning time, that'll even be done. So I don't think as long as the law enforcement is doing what they're trained and acting responsibly, that this should not affect them.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, my question has to do with the minimum penalties here. I see under the aggravated offense that the imprisonment is not less than 10 or more than 20. I'm just wanting to know how that compares to other statutes in this part of the code, you know, in terms of the minimum sentencing there of 10 years.
Yes, sir, Senator Cash. Under the assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature statute, that is up to 20 years. Assault and battery.
That's a minimum of 20 years?
It's up to 20 years.
Well, I'm asking about the minimum, because this says not less than 10 years, not more than 20. So I'm asking about what other minimums that do we have in that range?
There are no minimums under the assault and battery crimes.
So there's no minimums under assault and battery, but this is going to create a minimum of 10 years. So how does this compare to other serious crimes like hitting somebody with a baseball bat?
Well, so when you strangle somebody or create any kind of impediment to air to your brain, it does start to cause brain injuries. So it's something that they cannot correct from that point on, no matter from 20 seconds of restricting the airflow to the brain to 2.5 minutes.
I'm not arguing with you about the seriousness. I'm asking how this minimum compares to other crimes that are of a similar serious nature. Because if somebody cracks your skull with a baseball bat, that could also lead to serious problems, you know, blood on the brain pressure and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just asking this question, trying to figure out where we're at in the code.
Senator Cash, you need that before you decide on this bill itself today? I mean, we can get staff.
I don't need that before the bill moves forward, but I do think it's something that ought to be considered if maybe the other things aren't enough. But if she is saying that the other thing had no minimum and this jumps to 10 minimum, then that would seem to be somewhat inconsistent, is what I'm trying to say.
So with that, again, there's some kind of back and forth here. Let's get an answer, a definitive answer on that for you. Any other questions for the subcommittee, Senator Chaplin?
How would this just not fall under assault to begin with? Why do we need something special for strangulation if it's already assault?
Because this is actually creating a little bit other than just an assault. This is a more violent situation. And then also what happens too is you can actually get damage from injuries from a strangulation that is not seen. And until the medical examiners are
or the doctors are doing x-rays and they see this damage and that goes from an assault, then at that point, it gives us the right to have a strangulation charge. That's what would help law enforcement.
I just feel like this might be a little excessive and overly broad.
All right, further questions? All right, Senator Sutton.
To Senator from Berkeley, Senator Adams' point, this one hits a little close to home. I had a first cousin a couple years ago, and the situation, incredibly violent, domestic violence situation. And what the senator from Berkeley said is 100% right. She started, and it wasn't immediately apparent, but it was way after the event, having other long-term health issues related to the strangulation. And ultimately, she died. She died a year later. The official cause is COVID, but as you know, COVID affects your breathing. And I'm no medical expert, but that strangulation incident that the year prior contributed heavily to her death. So this is a pretty awful crime, pretty awful thing for a family to experience. My cousin, she also left behind 2 daughters when she passed away. The one thing I'll say is I will echo the senator from Anderson's thoughts. I'm, in general, skeptical of mandatory minimums. I do believe that we need specific punishment for strangulation, but the mandatory minimum piece may need a little bit of work there. But Senator Adams, I appreciate your work on this bill.
All right, further questions, comments, otherwise, motion?
I move to carry over, Mr. Chairman. You want to carry? You want to?
I'd like, and then we can. You want to go ahead?
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Motion to move forward, and we can work on what Senator Cash is talking from Anderson.
Okay, I'm fine with that too. I mean,
All
if you want to
right,
go on.
so motion from subcommittee
wanted to
chair,
go
that
over
came out unanimously, is that correct? Senator
Correct.
Adams? All right, motion from the subcommittee.
I'll second that.
All right, motion for a favorable, Senator Adams, yes?
Yes.
All right, second, all in, any discussion, further discussion on that? Otherwise, proceed to a vote. Again, to get it out on the calendar, we've got 5 days after today. Motion made and second. All in favor say aye. Any opposition? There being none. All right, we're going to go, Mr. Freeman, Patrick, Palmer Patrick. Come on up, sir. I'll tell you what, hang on, let me see here. Aaron's here, sir. Come on back up. Yep, come on. You have anybody with you that you'd like to talk about while you're walking up?
No, sir. My wife is out of town. She's on a girls' trip, and apparently that meant a little more at this point.
Good for her. She can see this recap later. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Very well. You are here for appointment. If you'll have a seat, make sure that green light's on. You were screened by Senators Elliott and others. Aaron Crawford will ask some questions. Turn it over to the subcommittee chair.